Join us on a journey, you glorious human, to see yourself clearly and feel a little more awesome than you did before. It's Awesome with Alison. Hello, my beautiful lovers. I am here with the one, the only, the sexy, the talented Mr. Eric Robertson.
Hello.
What is that? Okay, this is this new thing. It makes me so happy to do. And my voice, like with my raspiness, it kind of breaks. Like I sometimes can't get the sound out. So it's a fun challenge. And when I take the middle schoolers around, they actually genuinely are not mad. They think this is really funny. I thought they would be mad, which is why I did it. I've got like a car full of middle school girls. And when there's a group of boys, I bark out the window at the boys.
Oh my gosh.
And the boys will freak out and turn. The first time I did it, I thought they would be super mad and embarrassed, but they all started barking with me. It was the best. So it's a fun new noise. This is episode 191. That's a little bit how I feel right now. So here's what we're going to do. And I was thinking about this. Let's just do this together. I'm here right now. I'm in this fun office with this great wallpaper that kept falling down. And I'm with my man. And I've got a fuzzy rug on my desk. That's not sexual. It's just truth.
Oh my gosh. What is now?
Oh how my brain works. Yeah, this is simmer down. This is like, yeah, feel the texture of the fuzzy rug.
It's fuzzy.
It is fuzzy. It's faux fur. So you listening, you're here. We're here in this moment. And your stomach might be clenching and convulsing from the stress of moments earlier, of the unknowns yet to be. And I'm giving myself a moment to feel that because trying to shove it away isn't working. And I just want to enjoy this moment with you and enjoy this cool, fun opportunity to share these ideas that I'm very excited to share. Mm-hmm. As our 14-year-old told me this morning, you have time to tell dad this stuff later. I need it. This was my time.
Go to school.
Yeah.
She wanted us to talk to her.
And I was like, Ginger, these are very important principles that you are lucky to hear me talking about. Mm-hmm. She didn't agree. 199.
191.
This is episode 191. Boo. Mm-hmm. Are you afraid of your thoughts? And I was thinking about this morning because I did that fun thing where you wake up with all-consuming anxiety and panic. Do you ever feel that? Do you ever have that?
There was periods in my life where that was every day. And that was when I actually learned how to meditate because it was so debilitating.
Yeah.
In college, that's when it was happening. I bought some books. And I've had periods in my life since where there's seasons where I do, but I haven't for a long time.
I don't know if I have for a while, but it has been happening. And this morning I woke up that way. And I was thinking about how I've definitely been avoiding and numbing certain thoughts because there is a headspace and some thoughts that needed to come that are uncomfortable. It's easier to turn on a book or turn on a podcast or turn on a TV show or call a friend than it is to sit in my thoughts. And I noticed this happen, and it's cyclical, and I have some ideas and ways that I cope with this, that I navigate this. But first, I love that you brought up why you turned to meditation. Are you afraid of your thoughts? Meditation, quieting the mind, it will come up. But you would not have learned it without the tension, the discomfort, the friction.
The friction.
I love that visual of friction where you rub it together. Your hands can get a little chapped. It can get warm.
Your problems in life is the friction.
Yeah, that's friction.
Yeah,
or honestly, even problems can be friction, but even the uncomfortable feelings. I don't necessarily, like the problem isn't necessarily the friction, but the feelings and thoughts that accompany it, I believe, are the real friction. Because the thing is neither bad nor good. It doesn't really have any value or meaning until we assign the value.
It's so funny because
right?
One of our kids will decide this is a huge problem, and the exact same thing, our other kid is like, that's not a problem at all. There's no inherent problem. It's how we perceive and
Yeah,
react.
I don't want to dismiss or demean the problem, right? Because it's a real problem. It's causing you stress. But that's why I got nitpicky on the language. Is it's the thinking and the feelings around the circumstance. And that friction, in your case, that friction or discomfort was waking up every day with this panicked anxiety feeling. That friction motivated a solution, answers, learning. It can be very hard to not want to be afraid of your thoughts, to be afraid of the feelings, to want to put them over there and not feel them and not deal with them because it's draining. I want to even talk more about that, a really cool clarification on ideas of different types of thinking. But first, I want everyone to just think about this. Can you relate to this? Is this useful to you? Why would you not want to hide from your thoughts? Why would you want to hide from your thoughts? I shared how it relates to me, and I'm sure I'll continue to talk about myself, but I'm wondering if there's a way that you relate to it. This idea of, are you afraid of your thoughts? What does that feel like to you? Eric, my husband.
I don't know that I can empathize of being scared of my thoughts. I guess maybe my thoughts can get scary, but I don't think it's my thoughts. It's like what my thoughts are creating. I guess so. Yeah, it is. I guess it's just a different layer.
Well, it's also like some people might not really identify with the idea of being scared. So like when I say, are you afraid of your thoughts? There's even you're a big, strong man.
I'm so strong.
Oh my gosh, your shoulders are so muscular.
Okay, all right.
So you're a big, strong man. Are you afraid of your thoughts? No, heavens no. Do I get uncomfortable and not like some of them?
Yeah.
Yeah,
course.
right? And that's essentially what I mean. So I think that's good bringing that up because what's the point of listening to this podcast if you can't relate to it? But I do think sometimes, and I love that in teaching and in learning, just one tweak of a word or language can help you apply it to yourself.
Yeah.
So if the word afraid isn't resonating with you, supply whatever word is. And how I notice this when this is coming up is one of two things. And those two things are, am I avoiding or am I numbing?
How do you realize which one it is when you're doing it?
I don't know if it really matters if I know which one it is.
How do you know when you're doing it?
I think that's good so that people may or may not get caught up on that because essentially both of them are avoidant behavior. I know I'm numbing when I don't want my brain to work. So there's lots of ways to make my brain not work. One of those ways is to be really, really anxious.
Keeping busy and
Like
distracted.
even allowing the sensation of anxiety to overcome me, even though it's hell and I feel sick, I'm more comfortable with it and I can get a lot done. So that's one of my go-tos is anxiety because I get so much done when I'm anxious. That's going to make me feel better getting stuff done. In the short term, yes, but overall, not so much. Avoiding or numbing can be a feeling. It can be a brain space. It can be drugs. It can be alcohol. It can even be like, I'm in pain or I'm uncomfortable and this medicine makes me sleepy. I'm going to go ahead and take this now instead of later. Because then you're going to be sleepy all evening instead of sitting in your problems all evening. And this is not necessarily even addict behavior. People always want to jump straight to addict, but it is dependent or reliant on something, which can be very necessary at sometimes. Medication, taking a Xanax maybe, right, when you're having a panic attack. But I've noticed even in my own medicating that it can be tempting to take medication to numb. I'm having a panic attack, but am I taking the medication to help resolve an issue and to have a calm baseline to look at a behavior or situation? Or am I taking it to turn my brain off? That's something I've had to really observe with myself. Because my brain is so active, I do have a lot of energy. That can be really tempting for me because it can feel like a freight train and there's no way to stop it. And that's what it feels like sometimes.
I'm wondering, like, what happens when you don't numb and you just go into it? Because, for example, when I was in my college years, I got this job and it was like an awesome job, but the responsibility that I had was so much and I had to accomplish so many things that I didn't know the steps to get there. So I'd wake up every morning panicked.
That's how I feel right now.
So what I did is I'm like, okay, well, I obviously don't want to do this. I feel terrible. I want sleep. So I got a book on meditation and started practicing and learning what the mind is. And that helped for a while. What really solved it for me, though, was actually doing well at my job and working, not in a way to escape the pain, but just going through it. Like, I don't know how to get this job done, but I'm going to work at it. And then I got confidence and I got relaxed. So what I'm asking is, when we have this anxiety and you're waking up, it's not good to numb. We know that. Numbing's not the right path. What happens when you go through the pain to you? I'm asking you.
Yeah,
when you
I
go
think
through
that's
it.
such a great question. I think there are instances when you do need to numb, when you do need to avoid. There was a period of time where I was having both physical and mental, emotional things happening that, like, it was physically too painful to not have medication or not have breaks, right? Anybody who lives with chronic pain knows you need breaks from it. I don't want to throw a blanket over never numb, never avoid. Because if you're numbing and avoiding, you're doing it for a good reason. That reason is that your body, your system truly believes it cannot survive what you are experiencing.
I agree with you.
And so, to your point, what does it feel like? What you were just describing, I definitely want to move into this idea of one thing at a time. Like everything else we talk about on the podcast, if you can't recognize and notice it in yourself, you can't help it, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the tools when it comes to avoiding and numbing I'm talking about are honestly, the tool is recognition. The tool is being aware. So I woke up this morning and here's how I had this thought. Oh, I think I'm in one of those phases where I'm afraid of my thoughts. I was awake early and I just wanted to listen to my book. Yes, my book's amazing. Not my personal book, a book I'm reading. It's amazing, but I didn't even want to sit in my bed with my brain. And then when I got in the car, I wanted to call my sister. Sometimes I notice listening to music won't get my brain enough, so then I listen to a book, and if my brain still keeps looping on thoughts, then I might call somebody. Talking to people is, I think, a really common one too. Having constant conversation, constant chatter, constant white noise. All of these are pretty good indicators that there is something you're trying to buffer or block.
For me, it's phone.
Scrolling.
Yeah. If I find myself sitting, I'm like, oh, this is uncomfortable. Where's my phone?
Yes. Another one I notice with some people I'm close to is they need to constantly plan something.
Oh, to have something to look forward to?
I think that's a great thing to do, but now we're going to do this. We can't just sit in the moment. We need to be planning and preparing for the next moment. And that can be a self-soothing technique. They get away with it just like I get away with my anxiety.
Because it's productive.
Because it's productive, right? And you can get away with it and they can convince you, no, I need to do this. This is responsible. This is the way it has to be done. It's probably an indicator that you are trying to control every single thing from your mind, which we know is a control tower of nonsense, right? You can't actually control
That's
it.
a great term.
I just came up with it. Thanks.
It's like an air traffic controller tower that just
brain compared to that.
Yeah.
It's a control tower of nonsense because it thinks it can control these things. It's just like a delightful imaginary tale. The best thing we can do is not be harsh about this.
Yeah.
Right?
Doesn't help. Shame never helps.
Shame never helps. I definitely go into shame. But this morning I was like, oh, that's so cute, Alison. Look at you being afraid of your thoughts. Just really nice about it and curious. I invite everybody into that, not to be watching TV and think, what am I numbing? I think a lot of people who are attracted to me and the messages we share have similar tendencies like that, which is why I bring it up. We are perfectionists. We're A students. We want to do the self-improvement and we want to do it better and the best, which is ironic because it really is about cutting yourself some slack to have space to make these observations. We're aware, we've noticed, we're afraid of our thoughts. Maybe we're numbing, maybe we're avoiding. What do I do about it? I've got 3 takeaways.
Oh, doggy.
When does she ever not have 3 bullet points? I mean, that's how I was brought up. You have a thesis statement and 3 supporting points in the paragraph. What I did this morning is I thought about a safe place to land. And this is something that I like to create for myself when I'm going through a particularly challenging time. What is a mantra? What is a thought? What is an affirmation that is a safe place for my brain to land? During challenging periods of my life, I have repeated the same phrase for an hour in my mind. It's a form of meditation. Mm-hmm. I had a health practitioner doing some body work on me. She gave me a mantra one time and she worked on me for like 45 minutes and she encouraged me to keep that mantra running through my mind. And it was so powerful and helpful that it's a practice I've taken. And this is truly like, I have to be really desperate to do this, but sometimes I'm that desperate. Mm-hmm. I need a safe place to land. And so I want to share with you some safe places to land. Have been writing some mantras or affirmations down in my phone that are speaking to me right now. And I'm calling them my Pachamama mantras. Pachamama is Mother Earth. That to me feels like the ultimate safety and comfort, like that warm, holding, beautiful earth energy. Mm-hmm. So these are my Pachamama mantras. If any of these resonate with you, please do borrow them. The first mantra, and I won't talk about all of them, but the first one was when you and I were struggling with communication and you were very stressed and having a hard time. And that's a little bit different than usual for us. And you felt very volatile to me. And I felt like I needed to keep it together for you, which I'm sure you felt that way about me. So I wrote down, I'm a strong partner. I'm a place of comfort and safety. Because I didn't know how else to help you. I was feeling very overwhelmed that I needed to fix it or make it better or help you get out of whatever. And I know that I can't do that. So where the safe place for my mind to land in that time was, I'm a strong partner. I'm a place of comfort and safety. So I was affirming, I'm strong. I can do this. I can be a rock for Eric like he has been a rock for me. And for him, what I really want to be is a place of comfort and safety. Not criticism, not critique, not more stress. So what do I need to do so that I can feel that way? And that's so different than putting it on you. Because you couldn't take any more at that point. You were at max capacity.
Yeah.
And so that really helped me.
That's beautiful.
And in this busy time, this same mantra has been really big for me. For my kids, I'm available. God's vision is my truest reality. I prioritize my physical health. I honor my mental health. I cling to and cultivate my spiritual health. I attract wealth. My services create wealth. Money is my servant. I was really feeling beholden and frantic about money. Bob Proctor says, make money your servant. I liked that. I'm being guided and directed. I'm held with love and supported. Solutions are on their way. My potential is limitless. I actively practice gratitude. It's magic. Lighten up. Having fun is fun. I believe in myself. I choose to meet what this moment offers. All is well. God loves you and likes you. And the reason that one chokes me up is my friend who passed away about a year ago would always say that. God loves you and likes you. And he's someone who had worked the 12-step program, worked with people of all different mental capacities and abilities. I just love that message. It also reminds me of him, which ties me to a bigger picture and what really matters in life. It reminds me that life is short and precious. So it's very personal for me, and it brings up all those things. And what I'm going to do with my mantras is I like to put them on my mirror where I get ready. And what's really cool, because I've done this in the past, there's about 20 of them. I say them out loud as I'm getting ready. I say them out loud when I go to wash my hands in the bathroom. And I notice the kids doing it too. And I just freaking love that. So Those are what I'm going to be posting in our bathroom, Eric.
I love it.
So that's my idea number around a safe place to land. Do you have any questions, ideas around that, or you think you got it?
No, I got that.
I love it. My second tip for being able to move away from avoiding or numbing your thoughts is to finish the thought. Often when we have looping, obsessive thoughts or we are projecting the future, we don't finish it all the way through. We stop at like the one thing. We'll say, they're going to be mad at me. And then we might like stuck, they're mad at me, they hate me. What I like to do is I go, okay, cool, they hate you, now what? Like they hate you, and then what happens? Okay, then I'm never invited anywhere again. Okay, you're never invited anywhere again. And this requires, you can't do this when you're in the panic. This has to be done when you're feeling more neutral about it. Mm-hmm. That's back to why.
I mean, for this to be effective.
Yeah, for it to be effective. Yeah. Trying to do this when you're drowning, you're going to drown, right? Like, or it's like my favorite from Troop Beverly Hills, where she pushes the mistress into the water off the yacht, and she goes, throw a lifesaver, and Shelley Long, she goes, Winter, winter green. It's like a lifesaver in choppy water, right? Yeah. It's not going to help. So allow the full thought. So when you were waking up in the morning with that panic, what would that full thought have looked like? What could you have walked through there?
It was like, I don't know how to do this. I'm not going to be able to do this.
What if you don't know how to do it? Then what?
Then I lose a job, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, and that really might happen. So much of what is going on is the reason why we are avoiding, repressing, or blocking is because we don't want to get to that next thought. By allowing yourself to just like fight with yourself and let yourself argue with your calm, logical self. Get petty, get basic, and just be like, you're wrong, Alison. You will get fired and everyone will hate you. Then that calm aspect can come in and go, okay, if I'm fired, then what?
Yeah, I was never getting to that spot.
Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm. I can't get fired, so I have to figure this out. Yes. I have to stay in this unknown panic.
Yes. Yeah. And you'll notice this too when you're having a conversation with somebody in a panicked state. They can't get to the next thought because they need you to understand the importance of this one right here. Mm-hmm. But I will get fired. And you're like, yeah, I know. I said you're going to get fired. Let's talk about And I do this in coaching calls, and it's awesome to watch people be like, I actually never thought about the next part, because lots of times you think about the next part and you might realize, yeah, that would be awful, but it's not, right? So that's just allow yourself the process. Mm-hmm. Do it at a safe time for yourself, not when you're drowning underwater. And then I want to read, it's so crazy. So I woke up, wrote down, boo, are you afraid of your thoughts? I wrote down all of these ideas. Instead of listening to my romance book, I decided, because I was feeling frantic, to give my brain a safe place to land and listen to a book that I thought might help. I've read this book before. I read it years ago. It's called Working with the Law by Raymond Hollywell. It's pretty dry, just a random book, but it talks a lot about thought. And this sentence was the first sentence that came on when I turned on the book. The practice of clear thinking tends to clarify the mind, tones up the faculties, sharpens the perceptions, and gives one a stronger and better grasp of basic essentials for a larger and richer life. I loved that clear thinking. And that's in the intro of the podcast. The podcast, it's still to help you feel more awesome than you did before. The shift that I've added in is to see ourselves clearly. And how important clarity is. This idea that practicing clear thinking clarifies the mind. By thinking clearly, we are inviting the process of getting rid of the gunk.
Yeah.
That's hopeful to me.
Yeah. And it's like, duh, but it's also duh.
Yeah. And Raymond Hollywell talks about the concept of surface thoughts. And this is tip point number 3. Surface thoughts versus real thought. This is so good. He defines surface thoughts as ordinary, trivial, and commonplace living. So what goes in the surface thought category would be all those money worries, schedule, even like the world concerns, the election, the dock strike, like the workers, all of those things, they are surface thoughts. And then he classifies deep thought, real thought, as deep thinking associated with truth. The inner convictions that guided one's aim constitute the real thought of the individual. Now, this is where people get confused about manifesting and all this type of stuff. So if I sit around and go, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, but deep down, my truth that I feel as truth, whether or not it's true, I feel it as truth in me. That is the real thought. That is the conviction that will motivate the actions in my life.
Give me an example.
So I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich. But I'm saying that out loud, but I lost my job. All my credit cards are past due and I'm not sure how I'm going to pay that next bill. There's an inner conviction of I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. It might not quite click because you're like, how is that conviction of I'm not worthy of these good things? I'm not worthy of money. You can see how that conviction in yourself leads to practices, habits, and actions that are going to align with a reality of that conviction. Right? Mm-hmm. So it really is, it's simple projection. It's if you want to build a building, you model out a building, you build it to scale, you draw plans, you project it, you have a clear mental picture in your mind before you go to build it.
Right.
If you follow the steps, it will build the building. But often what happens is, and this is a great analogy, is you put the coordinates for New York in your GPS, and then you start like literally driving a car to LA. And you're like, why am I not getting there?
Okay.
So the GPS, the conviction, that is like, that's what's going to actually take you there. So in this case, the conviction is taking me to LA. It doesn't matter that in the GPS, I'm saying I want to go to New York. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If I have a conviction that I truly am worthless and not deserving of wealth, my habits and actions will reflect that.
No matter what you say.
No matter what I say, no matter what I think, seeing yourself clearly and clear thinking is the most valuable, important thing you can do for the earth, for yourself, for your relationships, for the community, and for the environment. If you can see your own actions clearly, you're set.
Imagine that.
This morning I woke up and my big panic was it's all too messy. Starting this new business, throwing a dance party, our own personal stuff we've got going on. It feels so overwhelming. And I don't consciously know the exact actions that I need to take to get through, to navigate through the mess. So that is very overwhelming and I want to numb. I want to have the floor open up and swallow me because I do not want to do this. So I started thinking about all these things and I was like, okay, where's a safe place to land? After reading and taking a moment and thinking about these things, I started having the thought that it is messy. It's very complicated. However, I want to build complicated next level businesses, relationships. They're big and they're complicated and they're new and they're next level for me. So of course, I don't know the steps because that friction is how I will learn what knowledge I need
Have you ever heard the
to
quote?
do those.
Have you ever heard the quote? It was like, how do you know if you're on the path? It's when the path disappears.
Yeah. Yes, there's no path. Yeah.
You can't see it. That's your path.
Yes, exactly. There's another quote. If you can see 3 steps ahead in your path, it's not your path, it's someone else's. I love that one. You're not on your path if you can see the steps ahead. It can be overwhelming. When you were talking about, waking up for the job and I don't know how I'm going to do this. Another thing that has been helping me is I just got to take it a day at a time. I might not have solutions for tomorrow's problems, but it's not tomorrow yet.
That's right.
Right? So to recap, if you're afraid of your thoughts, if they're freaking you out, if you're numbing and avoiding, you're not alone. We love you. We hope this helps creating a safe place for yourself to land. Oftentimes, Eric is my safe place to land. Calling a friend my friend Whitney is a wonderful person to call who will receive my panic.
We'll put the number on the podcast.
Yeah, Whitney, her number is, and then number 2, allowing the full thought. What if getting a little tiff with yourself and argue, play devil's advocate, let yourself have the tantrum because trying to stop it isn't helping, right? And number 3, asking yourself, what is the surface thought and what's the real thought? What is aligning with a conviction? What is aligning for truth for me? And then sometimes you might realize that those surface thoughts aren't true at all. I don't actually think I'm an idiot who deserves terrible things. So how can I start working on that conviction within myself? And boom. Welcome to October.
We did it.
Such
a great month coming up.
Hey, Eric.
What?
Tales from the Dark Dungeon.
Oh,
do I have some tales?
You're just as absurd as Ricky Gervais.
He's my inspiration when I do those voices.
Funky news. Chimpanzee that. Okay, Tales from the Dark Dungeon. Okay,
You've got a big day coming up.
I know, Monday, October 7th, the digital book comes out for my game 1490 Doom. You can buy it at 1490doom.com. I'm guaranteeing you now. It's not relatable to your life.
Eric, why can't people be excited for your game? Why can't they follow you in this journey
for
420 Doom and the Cones of Dunshire?
Okay, it's extremely niche, but hey, I'm grateful if you come and look at it. I've had a blast making stuff. I've always been creative, and it's just fulfilling to me to make something. And the best part is so many people across the world, we have a Discord server, so many people are playing it.
I know.
That is actually super cool.
It's super cool. He shows me pictures. I mean, this is like
if you go to the hashtag 1490 Doom, you can see so many people making stuff for it and playing it.
It's not like you buy a box and open it and play the game.
No.
It's like they're 3D printing characters. They're building game boards.
Yeah. It's a hobby. It's like you build it and then you play it. If you build it, you will play it.
And if you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
And they did. Oh, fun.
Okay.
I love that. Thanks so much. So now I'm going to read one of our nominations from She Can't Be Stopped. She Can't Be Stopped is my new product and event platform. Whee! Maybe one of the reasons I'm feeling a little bit of tension is because I've got a dance party. So the tickets will be live when this goes live, and
it'll be too late by that time.
Sold out. Listen, I expect nothing. I do have a nomination. If you would like to nominate somebody who you look at, they are a force for good, and when you see them, you go, ooh, she can't be stopped. Head to shecan'tbestopped.com. There's a nomination form. We'll link to that in the show notes. You and the person you nominate will win some goodies from She Can't Be Stopped. This is from nominator Patty. She's nominating Carolyn, and she says, Carolyn is my ride or die friend who I have known for over 40 years, my no matter what friend. She's a handful and also a delight, hardworking and loving to all. She has been diagnosed with a very lethal form of cancer, yet she sends messages to check on me. She seriously can't be stopped. Her friendships to all should be celebrated along with her fighting nature. I truly love this lady. I love hearing everybody hype one another up. Carolyn, I'm so sorry to hear about your cancer. And Patty, I'm so glad you two have each other as friends. Shoot us an email to biggirl@shecan'tbestopped.com with your addresses, and we will get those goodies sent out to you. Thank you guys for leaving reviews. Thank you for the nominations. Thank you for sharing about the podcast. Thank you for being here. Eric, anything you want to say as we wrap up?
Just love you all. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, we love you guys. We love this podcast. We're so grateful for you. And I want to remind you, only you can be you. And you're already as awesome as you need to be. Do you have a song?
I'm sure I do.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Here, I'll drop it right now.